a lot of people have been asking, like what's been going on and stuff, and it's been pretty tough for us over here. Um, false hopes and stuff like that. You're always kind of waiting for that axe to fall, so to speak. Um, I don't want to sit there and say I blame myself, but I kind of do. I mean, I listened to her. Instead of sticking to my guns on what I know was true. She doesn't like she doesn't like it. Cannabis oil. She doesn't like the way it, makes her feel. Obviously, you know, she's not, one, to ever really smoke. And it's understandable. A lot of people have the same, same deal with it. They just don't like it. They don't vibe off of it. Well, there is CBD oil, which is, it does pretty much the same, in the sense of without, the whole buzz side. But there's some stuff that, you got to read the fine print. You know what I mean? Certain cancers just don't seem to, it's not as aggressive as THC oil. It's just not, from what I've seen. But then again, like I said, it's a real fine line. Children, when it comes to CBD, it's just off the hook. I've seen dramatic change with seizures, grandma seizures, and so autism. I mean, there's just so many different aspects of where that goes to, and it's just remarkable as well. In cancer patients. Um, but I know what's worked. 25 other people working on 26 now have proven it. And they're still cancer free at this point. And I'm praying that they stay on this oil, man, because any changes of it seems to make a real dramatic effect. Okay, there's one condition you really need to understand though. Um, Long term of such heavy doses of this cannabis oil and higher strength isn't really good for you. You know, tends to feed cancer growth. So you have to really pay attention. That's what I mean by dotting my I's and crossing my T's. Is I learn. I learn every day. Every day I'm trying to make sure that I'm doing what I have to do for her because nobody else seems to want to. You know, I've been kind of alone in this battle in the sense of me personally. You know, the support I've been getting from you guys out there. It's just really unreal. You guys are just, I mean, wow. Here, there's times where I feel like I'm just like on the verge of losing it because I'm just so tired and, I'm frustrated. Because, it'd be something if I was just dealing, with my love. And, that was it, I mean, but for some particular reason, like, I ask myself this every day. I don't understand why. I seem to learn a lot about cancer and cannabis oil and what it tends to help and, you know, the misconceptions of it as well as the big business of it now. People are making a lot of money off of people being sick. I guess it's the nature of humanity, I guess, but that's not me. I'm not in it for the money. I haven't asked anybody for any money, and I've spent a lot of time helping people, talking, if not passing on information and stuff, but you have to understand that information in the beginning wasn't so easily attainable for me. I wasn't real good at this. I'm not an educated man by any means, so um, I'm learning. I'm trying to keep up and trying my best to do whatever I have to do, you know, for my love. I mean, we've had some pretty scary times, and I mean, if it wasn't for you guys, I mean, I really don't know. I mean, at first it was funny because my love's a very private person. She's very quiet, very shy. I wouldn't say she's introverted or anything. She's just not real, real outspoken. But once you get to know her, girl, don't shut up. No, I'm just kidding. But it's just, she could sit at the end of the table, and everybody be talking, and you would literally forget she was sitting there because she'd just be sitting there watching everybody. That's my love. She's beautiful. She makes my heart beat. You know, uh, I see her and I smile. I mean, it's just a trip when I've been, I was married before, I wouldn't say it was all bad, but she turned into be not the person that I thought she was, and I've lived, to regret it all these years afterwards. Oh my gosh, have I ever? But it makes you realize, at least I hope that's what it does for everybody else, but it did for me, to to realize what you have, and to try to hold on and protect, and that's who I've always been, when it comes to my friends or, family, or especially family, I've always tried to, but this was never something that was in the plan, you know. I just everybody else just seems set in their ways, in the sense of, well, this is what it is, so be it. Fuck that, I mean, I just couldn't. I mean, I just can't. So, intern, I learned. Like I said, I'm still learning though, and I'm reading, and I just got off the phone right now with, it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning, and I got to be up in an hour, but I had to talk to this doctor in Europe, and it was this time, and anyway, it's like I'm still questioning, if I'm doing the right thing, if because I got in a real pretty good heated debate this, at my wife's biopsy, um, okay, you have to understand the situation here. A little over 3 months ago, she was diagnosed, or actually, she was cleared, in the sense of she was cancer free. Okay, no cancer whatsoever, not in her blood or bones. Nothing showing on tumor marker scales, nothing showing on scans. Okay, I mean, literally, pathology was reading, everything was just off the hook. Okay, well, at this point, my love, she had found some articles, and about how the whole, can't too much of it, THC, feeding cancer growth, and she was a little worried. So this was a while ago, so I was like, doing my research on it and stuff, and a lot of it was factual, and mind you, like I said, I'm not a doctor, you know what I mean. It's trial by error with us, and obviously I know the error, is pretty fucking heavy, so that weighs on my heart, it's scary, I mean, I just want to do everything the right way, and nobody's holding my hand, thank God for these doctors out there, because any other doctor out here didn't want to fucking talk to me, it didn't want anything to do with what I was trying to do. If they did, it seemed like they wanted to do it on a public scale, and at that point, I wasn't willing to do that, it was difficult for me. I just started something that was just called "fuck cancer." Without even really knowing I started anything. I played softball. I made a sign out of a Bud Light box. I wrote "fuck cancer" on it, and my wife was sick, and I was gonna go play in a big tournament, and took it with me. Well, people saw the sign. People wanted to take pictures with it. It meant something to other people. I got a lot of flack over it through the years. I got to see reality and so-called friends. And moved on from that, thank God. But still the heart is still hardened by it. Like there's one thing about me is I don't ever forgive. I don't forget. When you hurt me or my family, there's no going back. So anyway, when it comes to her, I wanted to make sure, well, okay, now her new doctor, I should say, there's what, third or fourth, I believe, um, doesn't like me. I mean, does not like me at all. Excuse me. His mentality is, he has that God complex. It seems like to me that we're just supposed to submit to his will. Basically, what he tells us what we should do is what we should do. End of story. No questioning. Just do it. Fuck that. That doesn't fly with me. Okay. I guess we as a people, we're very gullible. I don't mean that in a disrespecting way. I just mean that we're naive in a sense. I mean, we believe in our doctors. We believe that they're telling us everything that we need to know. That they're really there, and that they care. That that the patient's well-being is at their first and foremost concern. What if that's not necessarily the case, you know? Because the way I look at things, and this is just my opinion, mind you, everybody else is free to have theirs, but they're specialists in their field, okay? And their field is what? Cancer treatment. It's not saving lives, I mean, well, they're trying to extend life in the sense, but they're not saving lives, they're killing you as they're treating you. Think about that. There's nothing that's good that benefits you as a patient that they give you. Nothing. I mean, in the sense of regrowth or, healing or nothing. Nothing. Okay? And it's all derived on money. Okay? And that's the scary part. All derived on money. Okay, so when you have a doctor that says that he's there for you, that he's willing to do anything and everything to try to, you know, take care of you and get you the best care that you need, quality care that you deserve and you need. How do you say that to somebody when you know that you're willingly poisoning them and making money off of them suffering? And you knowing that there's no accountability, that they can try any test, that you're basically a fucking test tube. They can try anything or nothing at all. And there's no liability. That's why the whole waiting game is. Well, let's just wait and see. Well, let's give it a couple weeks. Yeah, let's give it a month or so, and we'll check you out in 3 months, and we'll see what it looks like then. Basically, the summary of that is they're waiting for you to get sick enough to treat, so that it's in their financial gain to treat you. Understand? So basically, that's what this doctor was doing right now. Okay, she had it's called a stereotastic radiation. Okay, she kind of had no choice. Her tumor, mind you, she had breast cancer originally. We were lied to, gullible in the sense of what I was referring to then. We believed in our doctors. We believed what they had to say. Well, what they didn't, what I learned later on, which pisses me off, was that her particular cancer had a 98% chance of coming back terminal. And he never told her, never told me, never told anybody. But he knew. So yet that whole time he was just fucking making money. Money. While my love was fucking suffering. I had swore some pretty bad things about that man. And I was pretty much set up on doing it, you know? Kind of resolved in my ways at that point. It's funny, he called and, I kind of gave him the ring around in a sense, but not in a yell, screaming kind of a way, It's funny dealing with all these doctors and, this research, these years here. Funny how you can turn it off and turn it on. It's funny because I guess I blow their minds because you know looks are deceiving, so to speak. You know, when they talk to me, obviously they don't see who this is. All of a sudden they see me in person, it's like, what the fuck? It's fine, it's all right. I'm okay with that. But anyway, so basically, what this doctor was trying to do, well, he was basically waiting for the inevitable, is what he was doing. Why? Because we all should know by now, chemotherapy and radiation promote secondary cancer growths. It's a given. They know this. They do. It's written in fine print. They just don't tell you. It sucks, I know. Um, so basically, they thought they saw something. Okay. Okay. Now this is where the funny thing to me comes into play. Okay, a radiologist, the one that did this particular radiation treatment for her, he's a specialist as well. Been doing that for quite a very long time, from what I understand. Um, okay, when we saw him, prior to all this, I had told him, I'm gonna prove you wrong. He just kind of like I mean, at least he wasn't a dick or anything, but he kind of just shrugged it off and, okay, But I had told him what our goal was, what our mission was, and what we were doing. We stood there, me and my love, and we looked right at him and told him this is what we're doing. and he was okay with it. You know why? Because it doesn't affect him or his agenda, so to speak. But he's there ringside, so you know. So when we went back, you know, for the final deal, we were being escorted to the actual room to meet the doctor, and as we were going in, I saw him down the hallway, and he looked at me, and he pointed, and he kind of touched his chest, you know, and you can see he had his eye, you know, like it was like a, you know, one of those moments. Well, that fucking scared me, okay, because I just thought, you know what, you know, wow, you know, worst nightmare kind of deal. So I was like kind of on edge, but you know, I'm getting good at this whole acting game. You know, God, love, we're okay. You know, I know it. You know, I was still just please, Lord. You know, kind of deal. And when he came in, he showed us everything, and you know, he was so excited. He was excited. Okay, he showed literally. He went from scan to scan. Why? Because you know, I have a lot of questions. I want to know maybe more than you know your average patient because they don't know. You know what I mean? What questions to ask or what's next, so to speak. You know, well, that's where this whole research thing for me came into play, because I learned where it's going to go next, or what's going to do this, or what's going to do that, or what not to do. You know, to provoke anything. You know, there's a lot of things that we can do as a whole. You know, just change our diets, alkaline water. You know, literally no bullshit. This tap water is poison. The majority of all bottled water is bad. Get glass bottled water. Please. No plastic. None. Bottled water left in, you know, bottle water in a plastic container should not be left in a car. Okay, sun exposure, boom, brings out the bad things in the plastic. From what I understand, increases chances that you have to get cancer. And for a patient that already had an active cancer cells, you know, manipulating in their body, it's like ding, 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 you know. So fuck, you gotta be really on shit. It's just what it is. You know, obviously you don't know when you're buying it in a store. That's where you taking the time to go to these Whole Food stores and all natural and that kind of stuff. You know, if you had to drive fucking 20 miles for a gallon of water, then fucking do it. You know, get friends involved, get family, get somebody that's willing to get your back. It's just been us. She has a good friend named Violet. That chick is badass. Uh, I have some, I have cousins and, I guess a couple, really cool friends that, that always seem to, grab my ear at the time of need. I needed to hear the word. I needed, basically somebody to say, get your ass up and let's go. My boy Troy was there, and I never even had to call him. Troy Aragon, man. I mean, just a trip how, every time I see that man, it's just hearts like that fucking big, I mean, Ernie Rios, another one, I mean, just it's always, every time I see them, it always seems to be, wow, because I remember each time, the last, you know what I mean, that kind of deal. And that to me is something. And every time I see them, it's always positive thoughts and prayers and love. But in the sense of, forward motion, which is awesome. Then, it's just a trip, but it's just a scary thing when you're having to deal with two doctors that are in conflict. Why? Because this radiologist is telling us everything that, she's golden and, perfect and there's nothing. And that basically, they've been checking these tumor scales, watching her blood, certain tests, when you have a metastatic cancer, there's particular tests that they look for, okay? And then they do when it comes to blood work. And you check those elevations as well as drops. You make sure, you got to be on point. Well, I got that shit in the head. I know what I'm reading, and if I don't, I get refreshers again. Okay, now I remember again. I'm always constantly doing that because, I'm thinking of so much fucking shit all the time. Um, so Anyway, that's what was going on. So he's telling us one thing, and then all of a sudden, um, okay, now the radiologist had said something about before that with this particular surgery, you got to remember it was she had a compression of the spine. She had a spinal tap. Okay, so they pinned in plates, pins and rods, and then actually small plate, fusing her. I believe it was her L3, L4, L5 vertebrae. She was bad. She could have died anywhere 3 days into that hospital fucking stay. It was horrible, but she made it. She's a bad bitch. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? Just give up on her? Well, no. That's where we stayed our course, and then he confirmed what we've been trying to do. We were ecstatic. We believed because we didn't have anything else to rely on. Conventional medicine, life expectancy, on their protocol can be, a year, 2 years, 5 years at the most. Fuck that. Even if this is in the sense of where it keeps it into, you keep it submissive or submitted, so be it. At least it's not killing her. At least she's able to live a life. I mean, and a functioning life to boot. I mean, with her surgery, and she'll never be the same. What cancer and what the therapy and their therapy and their treatments have done to her already, she will never be the same. I mean, I think she's beautiful. She feels different. This whole boob thing, I don't get it. I mean, yeah, just like any other man, and big boobs and a big ass, yay, big fucking deal. But when it comes to this kind of deal, I don't give a fuck, man. It does not matter. It doesn't matter at all. um, just trying to stay positive and stay, we're stay the course. What we're trying to do is stay positive. um, it's hard though when it's just hard at times. I'm dealing with a lot of stuff at one particular time. I'm trying to prove these doctors wrong, but then as well as making sure that I'm not stupid and making stupid mistakes, and while I'm helping other people as well, that too. You know, it's been what I think 15 people in the last I want to say maybe 8 days. I mean, that's a lot of people, man. But it's a trip, because I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Because it kind of takes my mind away from me kind of worrying. And that's the thing. This other doctor trying to spin us. He's trying to get that fear into you. Um, my love's in there, and she goes in to get her biopsy done, and we already know what the procedure is going to be. What's going to be taken. Okay, we know which bone it's at. We know it's on the ischium bone. Little lesion. They don't know if it's. Well, I believe it's scar tissue. I believe it's something from the surgery. They said it was a mass, but it's not showing cancer. Okay, even if it's a minute cell in the sense of not a lot of growth, they wouldn't even categorize it as cancer. Okay, they on a pathology report or your scan pathology report, they would categorize it in measurements. That's their way of not letting you know that you have cancer there. Okay, they're letting it grow bigger. Feel me? Okay, a lot of people don't pay attention to that. Well, I did, and there was no listing of that. Okay, there is just doubt because they don't know. Okay, and that's the thing. They don't know. So at this point now, you're going off of opinions. Okay, you're going off of what they believe or what they assume or what they think. Well, that's a lot of bullshit in my books. Unless if you don't know, don't assume. Because basically, what you're suggesting that she do is, in essence, makes her chances of getting cancer again higher, greater. All mammograms, these CAT scans, these body scans, these abdomen scans. I mean, when she thought she was sick, the second time when we believed it before they diagnosed her, we were asking for a scan. Please, do something to find. Just we know something, and couldn't get a fucking scan to save anything. Not one. But as soon as she was diagnosed, okay, we're gonna get this scan, we're gonna get that scan. Why? Because it was all fucking money for them. Okay. So in turn, I guess the doctor who's gonna do this biopsy tells my love what the procedure is and what where they're going to do and this and that. Wait a minute, it sounds different from what she was expecting. So she says, "Go get my husband. I want him in here." So they came and got me. I came in there. I'm like, what's up, love? I thought she was panicking because she had to go into kind of claustrophobic. Wasn't like that at all. See the doctor. The doctor starts telling me what he was planning on doing, and I was like, time out. What I was told, or what we were told that this is what was going to happen, is blah blah blah, and he didn't like that at all. I seem to bring that out in these doctors for some reason. Well, he didn't like the fact that I contested what he was planning on doing. Okay, he didn't like the fact that I knew. From that point, I began to just tell him. Didn't like that as much either. People started coming into the office. Okay, because it's kind of like a where the big machine's at, and then you have the glass window partition where for safety reasons they're behind there. Well, he walks me over there, kind of, and he wants me to understand what they're trying to do, and I go, yeah, I understand that you're telling me this, but I don't understand why you're doing this when it comes to it's on the other bone. So you're going to be poking a bone that it doesn't have any. So you're just testing the general bone then? Or you're doing a biopsy of the particular area? What is it? See, I guess he didn't realize that I had done my research. He didn't he didn't expect that from me, okay? And he didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. So I told him, no, that's not exact. Go get it. I want to read it. He's like, we have an email from the doctor. Let me see it. Because that's something that I don't know. And she's the patient. Don't you think she should know? So he was just like, well, if you want me to, I just said I would. So he walked away, went to go get the email, supposedly. But I could see him in there talking, and, they're all like kind of giving me their looks, all the nurses and, other, whatever staff that's in there. People started filling that room pretty darn quick. Well, he calls me over there again. Now he wants to call the doctor, her oncologist, and supposedly, I guess, to tell me what they were going to do. I don't know if he expected for me to be, the doctor. Oh, okay, yes, doc, whatever you say, No. So he gets on there and he's basically telling me, well, Jerry, this is what we're doing. I'm like, why? This is what was stated. Why are you going this way? Well, we believe it's this, and that. And I was like, well, how do you know? I mean, you say you believe, but so you don't know? He goes, oh, well, there's no real proof at this point. I go, so it's opinion then. So this shit is based off an opinion? You don't even have any factual evidence to state that this is what it is? You're just basing your decision off of an assumption? So what about Dr., whatever, the radiologist, basically he just discredited all his work. Everything that he did. Why? Because he's thinking that, radiation promotes secondary growth, so it has to be it, right? Well, he knows that, my love's been on cannabis oil, okay? He didn't like the fact that we beat the cancer the first time. He was very smug back then. So smug that it kind of made me a dick with him a little bit. I asked him how many diseases he cured, bragging how long, he's been a doctor, blah, blah, blah. He just kind of looked at me, what? Well, how many diseases have you cured, in your career? Okay, how about last year? He goes, what? I go, okay, that's kind of harsh. How about the whole, you say 40 some odd years, how long? How many diseases? He goes, well, ask me how many I've helped. And they are cancer free now. He didn't like that all that much. But anyway, so basically that was what this whole deal was about. Okay, when we found out this results a while back, he was, let's wait 3 months and we'll find out. We'll do some testing. In 3 months we'll see it again and this and that. My love and I talked about it, and ultimately it's her decision. I'm just there to support her and take care of her. Well, biopsy. Let's find out. Let's move forward. Let's not wait, because we're playing their game. Wait is their game. So we did, and we're waiting on now those results. She's still on her protocol. Okay, we kind of stepped it up again, went back to whatever, but I'm actually gonna change it up a little bit to where I'm gonna do CBD in the morning and THC at night. That way she's getting the best of both worlds, and it seems to work. Tried that for a couple patients already, but I was more in the mindset of pain. She's she's in a lot of pain a lot. It's hard for her. This girl's strong as fuck, man. But when I'm there, telling this doctor off, he didn't like it. He didn't like it at all. Started talking about, well, your wife doesn't want to do anything, and I keep on telling her about, getting on this hormonal pill and this and the other. I go, are you talking about the one that makes her teeth fall out and her jaw brittle, her lower jaw become brittle and then probably break away and then her pass out uncontrollably? That one you're talking about? He was just like, well, fuck, sign me up for that. Fuck, are you kidding me? He goes, no, not that one. We're talking about the one that helps with her hormones. Balance things out. Well, why would we want to do that? Especially if you just stated the fact that you believe that the only reason, because in all essence, he believes the only reason why, because let's back it up again. They told me that I only had less than a year left, maybe a little bit more, with her. Okay. Imagine. I'm just fucking spinning at that point. It just couldn't happen. Not in my world. So in turn, we ended up making her cancer free. Okay, so it was kind of like a blow to his face, and he didn't like that. So he's basically waiting. Oh, well, I believe it in my heart that she will be cancer free again, if she even is at this point, because we still haven't heard yes. Okay, they don't know. Okay, there's nothing showing. Okay, and this is where the things come into play. It's kind of a weird thing. This whole oncology, or the study of cancer. With these tests, right? Because tests can be false. Okay, you don't have to have actually you could have cancer and not show on your blood. It could be very low. Okay, but then it can be in a different issue where it's a blood deal or an autoimmune disease deal, and then it forms into a cancer that seems to, all diseases seem to come from one of those, you know what I mean? And it just seems like it's a trip. If you catch it early, which a lot of us don't, they wait. See, the majority of the time, they know you have cancer. They just don't tell you. And kind of was with our situation. Well, I believe in my heart that she's going to be cancer free. I know it. Nothing's changed. Well, actually, we started hitting it really, really super hard. You know, um, can't hurt. Especially if there's something active in her body right now, and it's a small, minute little deal. This will wipe it out again. She looks great. Color's back. She looks strong. She's lost a lot of weight. So, damn, baby got back. That kind of shit. She looks good. She's feeling good. She's just, she's tired of this shit. Just like any of us would probably be. You know, um, like I kind of, it's funny. I get talked to from people all over the world, and I'm not bullshitting. All over the world. Um, some really darn right awesome people out there. We got a kind of a lecture today, but it was just basically his opinion of what he sees. He was worried. It was meant with all good intentions. I know it was. but it still hurts. Yeah, I take things personal, and yeah, why? How could I not? I can't stress enough. I was never set up to do this for anybody. This was basically just started just to try to help my love and maybe get some support and maybe wake people up. Was never supposed to be this thing where I learned this, and how to help people and stuff. But that kind of came with it, along afterwards. But I was too far deep already, and she's my love. But it's been a long battle. We're not done. She's doing great. I just wanted to thank all of you. I mean, I can't say it enough, man. You guys are some fucking awesome people out there. I mean, how many responses I got, and private messages, and I feel like shit a lot of the times. You know, it sucks to I mean, think about it this way. Okay, it, you know what I know, and you're trying to help somebody, and you're doing the best that you can to give them the information that they deserve, that they need, and they deserve to have. But you know what comes with it. I know what's going to come next. And it's those things that kind of just eat away, because I still think of them. I'm not just one to just forget. If I take the 2 days, in writing whatever I was learning, or getting stuff prepared for them, I that and then you kind of start to care, but that's just neither here nor there. It's just who I am. It's hard not to. So I worry about her. I worry about them. I worry about you know. I mean, I'm doing better in the sense of I'm eating again. I know it sounds weird, but I am. Just still not sleeping all that much though. That's the part that's just really hard for me. I've never been afraid in my life. Never, not one time in my life. I never thought I was gonna make it to 18. Been shot at, fuck, more than 100 times. Got stabbed twice. Died once. It wasn't in a gang or anything. We just hung around with a rough crowd. Um, but like I never thought, I was gonna make it to that point. And everything else has been a blessing. But I've never been afraid. Never. And I'm afraid every fucking day. I mean, every day I'm afraid. That's the part that's, so he was, him and my mother both feel the same, that, I'm taking a lot of responsibility on myself, and that I think they said I blame myself for, I don't blame myself. I didn't give her cancer, but it's like, we're doing something that seems to work for everybody else. And it's gonna work for her. But they were worried, and we just basically little things like I'm scared for you. Mom's scared for me too. I've never loved anybody as much as I love this woman. It's not because she got sick. I called her my love before she got sick. She was always my love. I knew it the day I saw her again. And she says I followed her around. I might have did. I might have followed her around. But I knew. I knew in my heart. I knew right away that I wanted to meet her again. I wanted to get to know her. And it's funny how